Well, hello there. Welcome to Friday's edition of the Owatonna Today Show. I'm Shelley Whitehead. Thank you so much for joining us here, where you can find us on Charter Channel 8, 6 days a week. And if for some reason you're not available, don't have Charter, you can always find us on the internet. We are on blip.tv as well as YouTube, and you can find us on Facebook as well. And when you like us on Facebook, Leanne does upload the most recent episodes, so it's an easy way to find out what's going on in your community. We're always looking for great ideas. If you have something going on in your church or in your group, and you'd like to get that on the air, all you have to do is send us an email at owatonatoday@charter.net, or an easier way is to call Leanne Alt at 390-5751 and let her know so we can get what you're doing in your community on the air. It's a great way to kind of connect with a bunch of other people in the same area. I love our show today. We're going to be checking in with a legislative update, finding out what's going on with John T. Petersburg. I was combining my two guests because Doug Johnson is also here. He's with our Owatonna Business Incubator, and he's going to talk to us a little bit about maybe if you have ideas of starting your own business, what we can do to help with that. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Jody Voisin with the staff at Fairview Animal Medical Center, your other family doctor. Fairview Animal Medical Center is a proud supporter of the Owatonna Today Show.
If clothing catches fire, stop, drop, and roll. If your clothes catch on fire, do not panic and run. This only fans the fire. Stop where you are, drop to the ground, and roll over and over to smother the flames. Cover your face with your hands to protect your eyes and your throat and lungs from the burns. This has been a safety tip from the Owatonna Fire Department.
Hi, my name is Dave Olson, and I'm with R&K Electric, where we provide power to the people. We're proud supporters of the Owatonna Today Show.
And we're back with the Owatonna Today Show. I have with me Doug Johnson. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. It's a
Good.
pleasure to see you again. Do me a quick favor and introduce yourself for our audience.
Okay. I'm Doug Johnson. I'm the Executive Director at the Owatonna Business Incubator. And again, we're out there trying to help get small business going. Owatonna's got such a rich heritage of entrepreneurs and businesses that are going. I always talk about it being the critical mass of moving businesses and just a great foundation that this community is built on. So the incubator is there to help businesses that are already going and might be struggling, need a little assistance, or if you're a startup looking to get going. We've got warehouse and storage space and manufacturing space available, and also offices. So if you've got an idea that you want to get a business going, give me a call and we can set up some time.
How long has the incubator been in the area?
Incubator's been in the area a little over 25 years. We had our 25-year celebration in October. The facility we've got now has been around for almost 15 years.
Wow.
So we're very fortunate as a community to have it. It's I'm thankful for the foresight that the people had that set the original board of directors and started the incubator to have it available for our community.
Tell me some of the companies that have come out and grown and been successful thanks to the incubator.
Good. I think three that are most recognizable in the community are the lighting retrofit and CDI Concept and Design, and then Foamcraft. And Bob Ayers was last year's president, is now past president on my board of directors, and we always have some great discussions about his time at the incubator. He was actually one of the first graduates out of the new facility.
And so that company has grown to being, financially, where are they?
I'm not sure on his total sales, but they built their own building and they've already done an addition. And if you look at retrofit companies, Steve Kath is now heading that up, and they were able to expand, and they purchased the old Walmart building, so they've expanded their operations into there. And CDI is a strong company going on. Tom Peterson spoke at our 25-year celebration, and we've got a strong company that continues to grow and be in our community.
Obviously, there's an important element to helping startup businesses, because it's difficult to start it up on your own. And when you don't and you might have some friends who might be able to help you, but maybe they're not available as much. The incubator is there Monday through Friday with people available to talk to when they need it. So let's talk a little bit about some of the services. First of all, when someone is thinking about starting a company, they have an idea, they walk in, what can you help them do?
And again, that's a good I kind of look at myself like I'm a general practitioner for business. Obviously, I can't help in all areas. I'm not trained in legal. I'm not trained in accounting. But I can put them in contact with the people and help guide them on questions they should ask, whether it's in taxes or what kind of organization to set themselves up. Are they okay to be a sole proprietor? Should they be a corporation, an LLC, or a partnership? We help them talk through those types of things. We usually set up an appointment, and in that first discussion, I get an idea what the business is going to be, and we start talking through if they've made decisions about what the business entity should be like. What registrations have they made? Do they understand that you need to register with the Secretary of State, that you get a tax ID number, either federal and state? Do they understand sales tax law and what sales taxes they're going to have to charge? And then we go on and we get into the business plan. And I kind of look at it into 3 areas on a business plan. What's your financial projections? Do you have a feasible business? How many people need to walk through your door, and how much money do they need to spend each and every day for you to have a business that's going to be able to sustain itself? And then we talk about the marketing. Okay, we got an idea how much money I have to generate. What's my marketing plan to get the people in the door? And how can I promote the product? What's going to make me different from the guy down the street? Do I understand what my competition is? A lot of those questions we need to talk through, and I find it very interesting because most of the time they know the answer, they just haven't thought about it. So we just need to kind of talk it through. And then the third area of that business plan is you have to be able to sell yourself. Why are you going to be successful doing that business? You know, if you tell me that, I always wanted to be a cupcake designer, you know, that might not be something that says that's what you're going to be good at. But we talk through it, and a lot of times it's difficult because I always feel like I suck the life out of somebody's idea, and you really hate to do that.
But you
have to help talk them through the reality of it. But the entrepreneurs are such an important resource, natural resource. I think of finding gold in the ground is if you find an entrepreneur, somebody that's willing to take that risk, step out and do their own business. I think it's very important that we can help nurture them. And I talk about a group that I'm trying to keep going called the Entrepreneurs and Inventors Ecosystem in Owatonna, otherwise known as EIEIO. But I use that group as kind of a support group to help talk the entrepreneur through. There is a lot of risk in doing this. You know, it takes people out of their comfort zone. So we have to help. What I talk about is managing their risk. What do they need to have in place for insurance so that they're protected from that catastrophe type of event? And then we do that business plan so we understand the financials so that a month and 2 in you can say, are enough people coming through the door? And are they spending money the way I think they should? Because then if they don't, I need to adjust either my marketing plan or my operations plan. I've got to cut some expenses or I've got to grow the income.
Which makes me remember that you said that it's not just for startups. If you're already a business in existence and you're just wondering, maybe, am I doing the right thing or I don't think I am, you can come to you and you'll have that conversation with them as well.
Correct. One of the things, I have the Owatonna Incubator where I manage the facility. I also work with the Owatonna Economic Development Authority, and we do some loans, and I help process that for the EDA. And then third, I'm a Small Business Development Center counselor. So that comes through the federal government, the Small Business Administration. I'm a regional or a satellite office for the Rochester office of SBDC, which goes back to the state level. But we can provide that business consulting free of charge. We have to register, get them into the program, but then I can provide that counseling on an ongoing basis to help them, whether they need to expand, whether they need to improve cash flow, whether they think they want to bring some more people on board if they're a business going, or if they're a startup. We just take them from that infancy stage and just see where it can go.
Because it's, as you're talking, to be honest, I'm kind of overwhelmed that I'm not even starting a new business. So it can be daunting. You have this great idea, you see a need in the community, you want to meet that need, But to be able to walk in to talk to a successful business person, and like you said, the mentors as well who are part of that process, people who've been there, done that, it kind of gives you a security. So what is your first step? Taking it little bite, how do you eat an elephant?
Right.
One bite at a time, kind of taking this huge idea and making sure you're doing it right the first time. So you don't kind of come back and bite you in the...
Correct.
Yeah.
We want to, and again, we want to support them. They're a valuable resource.
Mm-hmm.
You think about all the great businesses that have started in this community because somebody found a need and they took the risk and they delivered on that. Mm-hmm. And really important. And we just want to help keep that going. So I have the EIEIO group, mm-hmm. and we meet typically the third Thursday of the month at 7 p.m. out at the incubator. So, here in February, it would be the 20th that we'll meet. Unfortunately, it'll be the 13th in March because I have a commitment on the 20th. But we'd love to have it, whether you're already doing it. We like the mentors. Mm-hmm. We call them serial entrepreneurs. And I think if each of us look, we can see people in our past that we've been involved with that have been involved in multiple entrepreneur efforts. They're kind of the people that they like the thrill of the hunt. They don't want to maintain a business. They want to start it, get it on its feet, and then move on to the next one.
And so if somebody has this idea, all they need to do is call you.
Right. Give me a call. The number's on there, 451-0517, and more than happy to talk with them. We'll set up a time and they can come out and we can work on whatever their business plan or whatever their idea is.
You mentioned that you do have the big facility. What kind of industry can you, support out there at the incubator?
Right. Right now, typically we're around manufacturing.
Okay.
I've got one tenant who's in there right now, Planet Air, mm-hmm. that's been there for a little while making aeration equipment, and very happy to have them, and they're a success story. They ship around the world. Mm-hmm. Pretty interesting when you think about our tie into the world economics. And then I've got space if you need warehouse space. We've had times where we've helped existing businesses bridge a time period. Mm-hmm. They need 3 to 4 months as they transition a new product line, they want to start a new product line, or maybe they're going to do an expansion plan and they need some place to just store some things. So we can help with that. I also have offices available and with computer hookups, phone hookups. So if somebody wants to move out of their home office and put an office out at the incubator, we can do that too.
Thank you so much for your time. I know this is an asset to our community, and we loved catching up with you.
Well, thank you. I enjoy this.
We'll be right back. Please stay with us.
Hi, my name is Dave Efforts with TPS Insurance. We're here to handle all your insurance needs. We are a very proud supporter of the Owatonna Today Show.
I didn't just want another job. I wanted a career. So I expressed myself.
I was new to town and I didn't know where to turn for a job, so I decided to express myself.
I decided to express myself, and they helped find the right career for me.
Express Employment Professionals is in contact with thousands of companies in need of quality employees. Come in now and get the job you deserve.
Express yourself today.
Do you know how to safely dispose of your expired or unused prescription and non-prescription medications? Not by flushing them down the toilet or putting them in the garbage. Doing so pollutes our rivers, streams, and drinking water supply. Take it to the box instead for safe, secure disposal. It's easy. Bring your unused medications in their original containers to the drop-off locations listed on the screen and drop them in the Take It to the Box drop box. Proper disposal of unwanted medications keeps them out of the hands of children and out of our environment. This is a message from the Safe and Drug-Free Coalition of Steele County.
Hi, I'm Doug Johnson with the Owatonna Business Incubator. We're here to help small businesses start and to grow. We're a proud sponsor of the Owatonna Today Show.
And we're back with the Owatonna Today Show. We cannot get enough of Doug Johnson here on the show. Just got to have him on all the time. But we have with us in studio right now John Petersburg. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Thank you. Very, very good. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Good. I want you to do quickly, I think some people are very familiar with you, but perhaps we have some new viewers.
Sure.
So why don't you introduce yourself?
I'm Representative John Petersburg, and I represent Owatonna, Waseca area and 7 townships in that area.
In the House?
In the House of Representatives in Minnesota. That's correct.
Which makes sense because you're representative. But sometimes those terms can get a little confusing.
It is. For a lot of people, they may not know that.
Mm-hmm. You've been in office for a year.
Correct.
And this is your first time in any kind of state-level office.
It is.
How has that been for you?
You know, it's still... I still get goosebumps when I walk into the Capitol and walk onto the floor of the Capitol and see the work that has to be done. And I'm also extremely proud and thankful for the support that everybody here has given me. The fact that they trust me to go up to the legislature and do what is necessary is very overwhelming, and I appreciate that very much.
It's been an interesting session for you this year. There's been some ups and downs, but tell us one of the things that you feel like has been a success story from your viewpoint.
Well, obviously, I think the fact that we got at least a few miles of Highway 14 done was great. It was a challenge getting the legislature and as well as the Transportation Committee to really understand that transportation is not just about moving people, that it is also an economic piece that is vibrant or needed for vibrant communities. And I think this is an opportunity for us to really start developing that as a commerce piece as well. And so the corridors of commerce that was created is one of those areas that helps. And so I appreciate having that done.
I think sometimes, and I've heard this from other legislators, that sometimes in rural Minnesota we feel like there's a fighting battle to get some of those funds that we need. Did you see that this year too?
Oh yes, absolutely. And you have to understand that the bulk of the legislators come from metropolitan areas. If it's Rochester, St. Cloud, Minneapolis, even Mankato, there's a great deal of them there, and they see the needs just as important in their area as we do. I think for them it's a challenge to help them understand that as we go as a whole state, so goes each individual. And that what is good for rural Minnesota is also good for Minneapolis-St. Paul. We need to understand that in today's society, technology, communication, and others make it just as easy to have a business out in Minnesota, greater Minnesota, Owatonna area specifically, than it is Minneapolis-St. Paul. So you don't need to rush to the Minneapolis-St. Paul area in order to really have a good paying job. And transportation and other infrastructure that makes greater Minnesota more self-sufficient is a positive to Minneapolis-St. Paul because it distributes the revenues and so forth closer to each one.
So it's important to try and to advocate for our area down here. So the new session is coming up. It's right around the corner. How's your break been?
It's been busy. That probably surprised me as much as any is the amount of work that actually occurs with answering emails from constituents, and I appreciate all those, so please keep them going. Phone calls, meeting with groups that want to hear an update about the last session, what's happening in the next session, what do we think might be happening, keeping in touch with some of the issues that we're having to deal with. We did have one special session in September this past year, but that probably was a little bit more involved than I thought it was going to be.
So as you look at the new session, what are some of your goals? Are you changing committees at all, or will you stay in your current committees?
No, the committees will stay there. They're generally speaking, they're assigned for the entire biennium session, which is a 2-year session. So I will be on both transportation committees as well as, again, on the Ag Policy Committee. Okay,
and so as you look forward to this new session, what are some goals that you have seen or you hope to bring forward?
Well,
that sounds like a really big sigh. That's a very big sigh.
I mean, I think it's more on because the biennium is designed where the first year is all about budgeting and finances.
Okay.
The second half of the session or the second year of the session tends to be more in cleaning up issues, cleaning up things, dealing with policy, and of course the bonding issue. And the bonding requires a supermajority of 60%. So it requires a little bit more work by both parties to put together that project. There are 3 or 4 issues that are coming up that we believe are going to be important. One of them is the anti-bullying bill, that is legislation that is going in front of them. The House has already passed it. The Senate is working on it. And so we'll see what's going to happen there with that. For me, it's a dangerous bill in the fact of its overreaching the authority, as well as putting more onerous responsibility on the school systems and a lot more reporting without any additional funding for that. So I think that's something that we need to continuously watch.
And so this bullying has affected so many people.
Sure.
So I'm sure this is something a lot of people, if they want to know more information about the specific bill, can they call you and contact you, and you can help them understand what's being presented?
Absolutely, and they can also be watching for a town hall meeting that I'm hoping to have done just before going into session, in which we can talk about that as well, so we can deal with that.
Okay.
A couple other issues. We know that a minimum wage is one of those topics that's coming.
The president made that very evident.
And the House has gone way above the federal level. The Senate is pulling that back a little bit. I think we need to really be understanding and careful about the consequences of a increased wage bill because it has a potential of increasing the unemployment, especially in our youth.
I think it's really important, John, to understand those consequences, because if you don't know the effect it will have, then putting it through when the effect happens, you get upset. So understanding the effect and whether you would choose to allow that effect to happen or not, that's another issue. But I think it's so right, and I think that's got to be hard sometimes as a legislator, is looking at both sides. Here's the positive, which I really like, but I also have to be able to face the negative and what that negative will happen.
Right, yeah, it's kind of like a domino effect or a house of cards. You can't just move one and expect the rest of it just stay together.
Yeah.
And that's the challenge. On the one hand, we all want to raise the standard of living. That's absolutely no question about that. We do want to do that. On the other hand, we want to have an economy that will support as many people employed as possible also. And so you've got to look at that together. Another issue that is developing that probably won't be impacted as much at the state level, but there is a propane shortage right now.
Yes.
And we appreciate the struggles that's going on with people's bills. I just heard recently that somebody had their 500-gallon tank, and it wasn't even empty, filled up, $1,800
and that's
for that.
necessary. That's their heating. That's their keeping their livestock alive.
Correct.
Yeah, it's very important.
And unfortunately, it's not so much that we don't have propane available as a country. We just can't get it here to the Midwest. One of the main pipelines that had been providing that propane from Canada has been closed and is going to be reversed and used to take product from here up to Canada. And that has really impacted our supply. So we have people driving trucks down to Texas to bring it up to Minnesota. But the pipeline needs for propane is something that the federal government will have to decide. The pipelines are really under their jurisdiction and not the state. So there's little that the state can do. We're trying to think about some ideas to help those. We're only talking about 5% or so of the energy used in the state is coming from propane, but for those that use it, it's very critical.
It's heating.
It is.
Yeah.
And we're concerned about being able to afford it. Even those that can't afford or aren't on low-income assistance, it's going to be impactful. I mean, if you get an $1,800 bill, where do you come with that?
I don't know.
So,
I don't have that.
By the way, I did also want to just say thank you to all the people that showed up at the caucus this past week, and there, because that really is the basis and the beginning of our political process. And so thank you for all that took the time to do that, and please keep me informed as well.
Well, and so as you move forward, you mentioned there might be another town hall. Where can people find information regarding that?
I'll be putting that up on my website as well as email. If you haven't got on my email list, please go online and go to the house.mn. Whatever that one is, house.mn, and get that information and get on the list.
Yeah.
We're hoping to do it the week prior to the start of the session. Could be the 20th.
Sounds like it's a really great way to kind of keep a local idea of what's going on in the legislature. We can hear on the news, greater Minnesota, but a local idea would be a great way just to keep on that list and find out what's going on.
Exactly, and it's also one way for you to have input into what I need to know, and that's one of the ways in which I learn about the local area and what the needs are. So,
well, Representative Petersburg, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Really do appreciate it. We like these to catch up with you. We will be right back. Please stay with us.
Hi, Warren Abraham Consulting Technologies, your one-stop technology shop. We support the Owatonna Today Show.
Owatonna Public Utilities, real people, real reliable, real progress. Making life a little easier day after day, taking pride in our community, listening to what you say, a voice you can talk to. We're growing with you in mind in everything we do. Owatonna Public Utilities.
The Owatonna Today Show is a vital opportunity for you to hear what's going on in your area, in the state. Like today, we found out some great opportunities for those of you who may know someone who's interested in starting a business, and also legislative update. This is a great opportunity, and there are some amazing people who've made this possible, and we want to give a shout out to them. We'd like to thank our premier supporters. These are people who have stepped forward and said, we'd like what you're doing on the Owatonna Today Show, and we want to keep it going. So thank you to the City of Owatonna, Express Employment Professionals, Owatonna Public Utilities, Safe and Drug-Free Coalition of Steele County, and United Way of Steele County. Thank you to them. Also, our primary supporters, Amy Swain Hearing Centers and Little Theater of Owatonna. Thank you to them. Of course, our interlude supporters are a big part of this as well. Abraham Consulting Technologies, Brenda Bednar Mortgage, Glenn Meager and Tim Thomas of the Brick Meager Funeral Home and Medford Funeral Home, Carlson Brandstad and Company CPAs, ERA Gillespie Real Estate, Fairview Animal Medical Center, Horizon Eye Care Professionals, Clanter & Son Landscaping and Concrete, Napa Auto Service, Owatonna Business Incubator, Perfinium Financial, R&K Electric, Snap Fitness, Steele County Historical Society, Steele County Transitional Housing, the Third Hand Incorporated Video Productions, and TPS Insurance. Each one of these companies has said, we like what you're doing and want to keep it going. So we would love for you to step up and tell these companies that you've heard them right here on the Owatonna Today Show, and give them your business as well, because they are great companies keeping our economy going right here in Owatonna. If you are a business and say, you know what, I'd like to be a part of that too, please give us a call right here at the Owatonna Today Show. Leanne Alt is at 390-5751. She'd be glad to give you an idea of what it would take to be a supporter, and we'd love for you to be a part of this team. As I've said before this week, we do have some amazing community service things that are going on. We want to give you one of those. As Representative Peterson said, there is a shortage for propane, and the state has set up a center that will allow you to get those questions answered. So if you want to call 800-657-3504, they will answer and help you understand what's going on, and maybe answer any questions you have. So make sure you do give them a call at 800-657-3504. This weekend it is the Eagles Cancer Auctions. Friday at 6:30, and Saturday at 4 p.m. there is food, there's beverages, there are live auctions, there are some silent auctions as well, and all proceeds go to cancer research that's happening right here in Minnesota. So make sure you check that out this weekend. And we want to thank also United Prairie Bank and Bremer Bank for helping out, keeping those monies in order as they do. It's the first annual Daddy-Daughter Dance coming up this weekend as well, from 5 to 9 for $65 per couple. It's a great way for you to spend time with your little one, and all proceeds do help the Owatonna Public School Foundation. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you next week when we talk to Vicki Jensen, get her legislative update, as well as take a peek at the Little Theater of Owatonna's winter play. See you then.